term.
Now recording. Yes. Good evening, dear project partners, students. This evening, we are together again to watch our cooperative video tasks of Reading Crew Team 3. We had the chapters 6, 7, and 8, and each group created their book talk videos for each chapter. First of all, I think we can start with students' ideas. What do they think about the book? If they want, they can share their ideas. Is there any volunteer?
I imagine a lot of
volunteer. Yes,
Yeah.
volunteer wants. Who wants to speak about the book?
Dai, come on. Elena, Morena, Alessandra.
Elena.
Elena, okay. Go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Elena. My task was collect all my friends' video and create the slideshow. I had a lot of fun. It was very nice to work together with this team. Hope you like it. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. The economist.
Yes.
Morena.
Hi, I'm Morena. I'm from Italy, and I think you know. And I made this presentation with Canva, and I like this book. And my favorite character is Jane, because who is self-deprecating, and she knows what her strengths are, and she knows she's not beautiful, but not if she makes a fuss. Instead, she demonstrates that she has other winning weapons, and I hope like this presentation.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you,
Elena.
Morena.
Is there anyone else? No one? If you
Alessandra, do you want to tell something about the book? Your idea about the main characters? I don't know. Something?
Yes. Pelin, Ezgi, you can also talk.
Yeah.
We have this meeting for you to talk, to communicate, to express yourself in English. No need to get ashamed.
They are leaving one by one.
Oh,
I think they are all tired.
Yeah,
they
they
have a
are
lot of
tired.
things to study. Yes.
What's going on? I don't know, but they are
Maybe the line
Yes,
is some problem.
Pelin, are you
Yes.
there? Would you like to say
Connection
something?
is not stable. At the end, we will be Ida there and Aisha. Yes. But we can talk about the book.
Yes, we can talk. I like talking about books. Okay, let's share
Yes.
the screen for the chapter 6.
6. Okay. Who will share the video?
I will
Okay.
do it when I find it. Okay. Can you see?
Yes.
Yes.
Charlotte Brontë was born in Thornton, England on April 21, 1816. She was a Victorian British writer, the eldest of the 3 Brontë sisters, best known for her novel Jane Eyre. His father Patrick is appointed as a perpetual curate of the local parish, while his mother died of cancer in September 1821. The children will be cared for by their maternal aunt and housekeeper. She is enrolled at Clergy Daughters School in Cowan Bridge, a school for daughters of clergymen. The institution's absolute and appalling condition will cause the early death of the 2 older sisters of just 11 and 10 years old, and will ruin Charlotte's health forever. The experience lived at Cowan Bridge will be recalled years later in the famous novel Jane Eyre. In 1831, Charlotte was enrolled in the Miss Wooler School in Roe Head, where she met her friend of letters Ellen Nussey and achieved excellent results. Here she received a place as a teacher in 1835. For a few years, Charlotte will be a carefree for some wealthy families without ever finding a satisfactory position. In a letter addressed to her sister Emily and dated 1839, Charlotte notes that a private housekeeping has no existence. In June 1854, after tensions with her father, Charlotte married Reverend Nichols, coadjutor of the parish. Charlotte died in Haworth on March 31, in 1855, pregnant with her first child. To date, Charlotte is believed to have died from a pregnancy complication that causes vomiting, dehydration, and weight loss.
Mr. Register had a visitor at his house. This was Miss Ingram, and she didn't like Jane very much. Jane was jealous because Mr. Register and Miss Ingram were spending time together, and she went up to her room, and then Mr. Register went to her and asked her what was going on. But she told him she was tired. Miss Ingram stayed for 2 weeks, and then she left. That week a man named Mr. Mason arrived, and when Jane told Mr. Register about him, he wasn't very happy about the news.
Jane was the governess of Aden. Miss Ingram got jealous of Jane when they met. She didn't talk to her, and with her words she meant she was ugly and stupid. She tried to humiliate her with these words.
In my opinion, the schools were worse back then. The students weren't allowed to express their opinions. As an example, one student didn't like the food and said her feelings out loud. After that, a teacher mocked her by shouting at her. Another example would be a girl named Jane Eyre getting punished for standing up for herself. And I think her punishment was incredibly harsh for a girl at her age. She was humiliated in front of other people. Schools now are a better place for students to express themselves. They care about students' mental and physical health, and as a result, children get better education.
Jane fell in love with Mr. Rochester, so she invited him because of the female guests, and no one spoke to Jane because she was poor and this showed class discrimination.
Mr. Rochester made. On a Thursday, Mr. Rochester's guest comes to the house, and guest only talks to Mr. Rochester's daughter Adela. No one says anything to Mrs. Jane because they displease her, and Jane is upset about this. But still, in the following days, she does not show it to guests, continues to serve them. Place is Thornfield Hall, Adela's bedroom, downstairs, schoolroom, sink room, milk-out living room. Time is 2 weeks later on Thursday and the following days.
So sorry for Jane in this chapter, because she was too lonely and excluded. Esther never talked to Jane, because she considered herself superior to Jane.
Jane Eyre's story deals with topics such as parental death, difficult orphan life, and bullying, but it's equally possible to spot topics such as the importance of education as well as school and teachers. Although the plot is centered around a love story, Jane Eyre teaches us, however, that even in difficult situations such as the loss of parents, you should never drop out of school and your education, because it offers the opportunity to open the doors to a better future.
The figures of the teachers are also important because they take the leading role towards the pupils, especially if they are predisposed to help the children. In fact, despite the many difficulties, she had managed to become a teacher to help a girl, and in this way she had also managed to get to know the love of her life.
Jane Eyre, the heroine who gives her own story its name and who is narrator, orphaned and devoid of affection but endowed with passion and firm religious ideals, she managed, despite the difficulties, to achieve economic independence. He then marries the man he loves as his legitimate bride, without affecting his moral integrity or falling in his own determination. Sir Edward Fairfax Rochester, the children of a noble family and owner of Thornfield Hall, forced into an unhappy marriage with Bertha Mason. He keeps her hidden because of the woman's madness. He rightly feeds pity on her and could never abandon her, but this also causes him anger and the impossibility of moving on with his life. The fire that destroys his home leaves him physically depleted, but also gives him a new chance. Bertha Mason, Rochester's first wife, upset by the madness, are a distinctive feature of her family. She managed to marry the man by deception, attracted only by his money, and a figure that remains in the background but still managed to influence the action of the other characters. Reed, the family is Jane's adoptive family. Mr. Reed is a maternal uncle, but he dies shortly after the arrival of the child in the family. From Reed hates Jane because of her modest family antipathy and because her husband loved the child more than his own children. He managed to kick the little girl out of the house, calling her a bad and a liar.
Aden Barnes is the child that Jane tutors at Forfield Hall. She is the daughter of an old Rochester mistress, abandoned by their mom to run away with another man. About her, he feels a lot of affection for Jane and for Rochester, although he is often hostile towards her.
Thank you. Chapter 6 theme. It's really
Good.
yes, I'm reading the message from okay, wow.
I send it.
Yes, you send it. Why is it
What are you saying?
like this?
My students couldn't enter the meeting. They told me like that. That's why I was sending her messages asking about it. And I'd like to thank you, the students in the chapter 6, the team of chapter 6. They did a great job. And other students are very good at using Web2 tools.
Yes, they are really good. Ayşe, maybe they try to they try to enter by using Safari or other things.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
You can change the web. Okay, try them. The other Safari or the other browsers, try them. And chapter 7. Okay.
7.
Yes, chapter 7. We have
Is Morena.
Morena.
Is your chapter, right?
Chapter 7 is
Is
yes,
yours.
Elena.
Elena, yes, good. Morena was in my team.
Okay. Okay, let's watch it.
Charlotte Bronte was born on April 21st, 1816, in England. She was the third of 6 children to Patrick Bronte, a Protestant pastor, and Mary Branwell. His father loved literature, had studied at Cambridge, and wrote poems of religious and political nature. In 1824, she attended the school for the daughters of clergymen with the sister Mary, Elizabeth, and Emily, the younger one. But unfortunately, the few hygienic conditions and the poor food will cause the death of the older sister, and the traumatic experience will be recalled in the novel Jane Eyre.
Mr. Rochester goes to call the doctor. He tells Jane to help Mr. Mason, but he doesn't want him to talk, because he's afraid Mr. Mason might say something Jane shouldn't know.
From 1831, she attended the school with excellent research before being hired as a teacher. Later, Charlotte will carry out the profession of governess for some aristocratic families. In 1844, and writes novels together with her sister. Then individually, Charlotte writes The Professor, which is rejected, while Jane Eyre is immediately published under the pseudonym Carl Bell. Other novels, Shirley and Violet, will follow similar to the content of the book, The Professor, but more autobiographical. In June 1854, Charlotte marries Reverend Nichols, but the happiness will only last a year because she will die on 31 March 1855 while expecting a child.
The story started at home at night and Jane went down to the garden and left the house during the day. Jane went to her aunt's house 3 weeks later. She went to her uncle's house.
The school and education are essential for an individual's development. As stated in the famous novel Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. The school provides an opportunity to learn, grow, and develop both individual and social skills. Without it, people would be deprived of a formal education and a wide range of knowledge, which can help to improve their own lives and those of others. In the book, Jane Eyre, the protagonist was deprived of adequate education during her childhood. However, with commitment and determination, she found a way to obtain education and was able to fulfill her dreams. Jane Eyre's story demonstrates that school and education are essential for achieving personal success and fulfillment. Furthermore, school and education can help to create a better and fairer society. As Bronte stated, education is the great engine of civilization. When people are educated and aware, they can contribute to the progress of society and help to solve social problems. In conclusion, school and education are fundamental to personal success and the creation of a better society. As Jane Eyre has shown, education is a powerful weapon that we can enable anyone to achieve their goals and realize their dreams. We dedicate this text to all the teachers.
I think Mr. Rochester is hiding individuals from Jane. Mr. Rochester silences him when he speaks, and I think he has a secret that he doesn't want Jane to know.
Aunt Red is the Jane's aunt, who after her husband's death takes charge of poor Jane, whom she will mistreat. Until his death, she is contemptuous of her. Jane Eyre is the protagonist of the novel, who struggles to overcome her difficulties. The only thing she wants is a loving family. Mr. Rochester is the typical Byronic hero, a mysterious man with a secret he won't reveal right away, and falls madly in love with Jane.
Especially the educational conditions of that period were very bad. To give an example, water was cold, and the teachers were very strict towards students. School is very disciplined.
Mr. Rochester, sometimes cruel, sometimes tender, the enigmatic protagonist. Jane, protagonist of the novel who struggles to overcome his difficulties. The only thing he wants is a loving family. Aunt Reed was responsible for Jane, being the only relative of the little one. The aunt was forced to keep her with him, also because of a promise made of the late husband.
No. Can you hear? Or can you? It's so.
Sisters quietly went upstairs. They entered a room and Mr. Mason was sitting in a chair. His face was pale and his shirt was bloody. Mr. Rochester brought a doctor for Mason. Then Jane went downstairs and opened the door. Behind the door was a carriage and a servant, and the maid drove Jane. Got a letter from her aunt. She quietly went to her aunt. Her aunt was very sick. Eliza came into the room, received a letter from Madeira. The letter was from Jane's uncle. He wanted to leave all his money to Jane. Aunt Reed told him that Jane died. After confessing this, Aunt Reed died.
Okay, thank you. Now we have only 3 minutes left, so I think we should re-enter. I will end this session. We will go on
Okay.
with the same link again, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.